the final day of our online summit, and thank you for staying with us till the very end. So we're starting the day very strong with the agentic data workflows in ColdFusion. Please join me in welcoming Nikhil Dubey. Over to you, Nikhil.
Yeah, thanks, Apurva. I hope everyone can see the screen and the video also. Yeah, I just confirm. Anyone? Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. Good morning, everyone. So, is it? I think the time is already 9:30. So yeah, it's the time now. We can start. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Good morning, everyone. I am Nikhil from ColdFusion Engineering team, and this session is about multi-step invoice processing using MCP powered autonomous agents. So welcome to my session. I am a senior computer scientist working with the same team, same company called for almost 10 years. And yeah, over the years, I have had my chances to work on almost all the products and a variety of areas that are there, the opportunities I got. And so, yeah, worked on version one of couple of products, PMT and VS Code extension. So, and yeah, many language features like parallel programming, asynchronous programming, IFEs, yeah, and date time. There are a lot of things. Then in language, you all know. Then last release, I was working on spreadsheet revamp, and this release I have been working on integrating AI into ColdFusion. So yeah, so I like to read a lot more. I read mostly technical stuff, and yeah, I also follow politics and sports. So that's about me. And then we will shift to the agenda for today. So firstly, we will be seeing the problem of document processing at scale, and where ColdFusion and AI can pitch in and provide us with a better option of building solutions. And yeah, we have a working application built for this session. And before we actually take a deeper dive into that application, we will take a look at uh, some of the basic concepts that we will be leveraging. That those will be mainly in AI world. So yeah, and after that we will be having a demo of the application, and I will also walk you through the code of the application that I have built in ColdFusion. And last 5 minutes I have reserved for Q&A. So we will be taking questions towards the end. And yeah, there is a voucher also, shopping voucher for $50, and that is reserved for questions. So please, there will be a question, and whoever answers the question first in the chat window, the guy, and the answer should be correct as well. So yeah, the guy will be awarded with a $50 coupon. So let's begin. So though I have selected only invoice processing for this particular application, but the challenge is common across multiple domains. So if you are a HR company, you will have a problem of screening resumes. If you are an insurance claim processing, then yeah, there are a lot of documents related to that. If you are a hospital, there are problems related to patient healthcare records. So and similarly, if you are a legal company, you have a problem of legal contract analysis and compliance. So if you take any domain, there are problems related to document processing, and there are solutions currently existing also, but some of the problems cannot be tackled with traditional solutions. For example, fraud checks, for example, summarization of the documents or classification. So wherever there is a semantic understanding of documents that is required, there the traditional ways cannot help much. I mean, they go up to a certain extent. So now we see where is cold fusion in this aspect. So yeah, traditionally cold fusion has been great with respect to document processing. So with PDF you have abilities related to generation, extraction, watermarking, merging. Then there will be it for any format that is popular like Excel, CSV, JSON, XML. ColdFusion has worked great over the years. Plus the integrations that you have with external APIs, the REST, SOAP, and later we introduced GraphQL. Then all of the integrations with cloud services also. So it has been great. But yeah, but use cases like summarization, classification, wherein semantic understanding of documents is required. There, ColdFusion is not that good. So yeah, with this release, we are trying to combine the rapid development abilities of ColdFusion and the rich processing abilities, along with the uh, LLM abilities like and the MCP tools and the RAG abilities that are offered by modern AI solutions to give you a perfect combination of reliable and efficient document processing, and that too with enterprise grade reliability. So with respect to logging or guardrails, so all those things will be covered in our solution. So yeah, so now we go into the specific problem of invoice processing that we are trying to solve and look at in this session. So as a whole, what this problem is very simple. You get an input invoice image, you validate it based on certain criteria. So the criteria include data completeness, validation, quality of the OCR. So we will be leveraging OCR in order to recognize the text within the images. So we will be using a open source library. So now after validation, so first you get the invoice, you validate it, make a decision whether it is to be approved or rejected, or should it be sent for a human reviewer to review. And after the decision is made, you have to communicate to the stakeholders through email. So this is the whole problem. It's a very simple use case and common as well. Now, the traditional solution, what it would look like is you get receive an invoice that would it would go through a software-based rules, and based on that, it would either be approved or rejected, or it would be sent through an approval process via queues, and then the manager will review, and finally it would get approved. With AI powered process, what happens is invoice is received. Now, then the extraction of the data plus the analysis and the decision making. So all those things are handled by model, not any software based rules or so wherein you write if and else conditions. And then once the decision is made, 90-95% of the cases it will be either approved or rejected. In very few cases it would be sent for a human review, and notifications would be sent. So this is more robust. So even if the invoice format changes a bit, the software based rules would break easily, right? Even the parsing would break. But with AI, it is on the model to understand the format of the image and its format of the text, and so even if the format is slightly changes, it will be more robust, and it will not the pipeline will not break. And as per a ResearchGate publication that was published in July 2025, I think, yeah. So if you take any metric, be it cost, accuracy, or error rate, in all the area metrics, you see a tremendous amount of improvement when you compare with the AI powered processing with the traditional one. So in many cases, it is going up to 90%. So this is like now a proven thing. Okay, so before we actually take a deeper dive into solution, let's take a little bit information about some of the basic concepts so that everyone is on the same page for those who don't know much about AI. So yeah, so first concept is about LLMs or the large language models. So these are basically neural network based AI systems that are trained on massive data sets. And they have got mostly two abilities. First is to understand the text, and the second is to generate the text. So these are the two simple abilities that these models have. And with these two abilities they are able to do so many things. So, for example, summarization of documents, or sentiment analysis, or generation of code. So just two abilities, and yeah, there are so many applications, and that is why in almost all the domains you can feel the LLMs now, making entry and doing some meaningful work, and that would not be possible. I mean, before 2022 or three, I would say. Yeah, so there are examples like GPT-5 or Llama 3.1, or like the models keep on coming. Yeah. Then next concept is about the MCP, that is Model Context Protocol. So we'll also use this in our solution. So this is simply speaking, this is a way to for LLMs or models to interact with external tools. So now, why do models need tools? So the answer is that models are good at two things I told: generating and understanding the text. But they are not good at so many things. For example, mathematical calculations, or having access to your private data or your company specific data, or some recent event that it has not been trained on. So models are not good at many things. So when the model needs access to those set of capabilities, which is inherently it is not good at, then model requires external tools. And before MCP or Model Context Protocol, every model would have its own way to interact with external tools. Now, what MCP brings is standardization for all the models. So we do not have to write any model specific code. So that is the main advantage of MCP. You can visualize it as a HTTP also. So say, just like HTTP brings web server to other external data sources. HTTP actually enables that communication. Similarly, MCP enables that communication between models and external tools. So it has got three components: MCP server, client, and transport layer. So it's MCP server means basically it is used for hosting the tools that are available for models to use. MCP client basically connects on behalf of models to the MCP server and gets access to those tools. Transport layer is basically the layer between the MCP server and client that is usually built on HTTP. So these are the two main concepts that we will be leveraging: LLM and MCP. Now let's take a look into the overview of the solution that we have built. So firstly, user will upload invoice. The ColdFusion application will basically pass the invoice data, send it to model. Model will respond with the analysis, and then MCP tools will be called to send out the mails. So there is a SMTP server that is hosted on Adobe network that would be used for this. So this is a simple workflow, and here the ColdFusion application is responsible for data orchestration between humans and AI, and it takes care of logging and other enterprise needs. So this is the solution overview. Now, our tech stack. So I'm using DevBuild here, ColdFusion development environment. It's not the build is not available publicly right now, and because it has access, it has got the built-in functions for calling the LLMs and MCP and other things. See, and for recognizing text in the invoice images, I'm using Tesseract OCR library. That is an open source one, and core application is built in ColdFusion. For model decision engine, I am using GPT-4o Mini as a AI making decision making AI, and MCP tools will be using two, one for sending emails, and the other for database lookup. Okay, and we'll be using a real invoice data set of 8,000 plus images that has been downloaded from Kaggle. So it actually has got real world images. So yeah, this is our tech stack, and now let me walk you through a little bit about the workflows that we'll be seeing. In the first one, we'll be using in-memory data, and there are three scenarios. Firstly, if the invoice has got all the fields, so it is a candidate for auto approve. So user, I mean, no human is involved here. And second one, there are some fields that might be missing, so it will go for a human review before actually, your model cannot make a decision on its own in this, because some of the things are good, some of the things are bad. And the third case, the model will auto reject because of the suspicious data. So flow is like this: the user selects the data, use the scenario, it goes in behind the scenes, mock data is generated, and a ColdFusion server in memory, and then it is sent. The data is sent for AI sent to AI for analysis. And once the decision is made by the model, the MCP tools will be called, and the email notifications will be sent out to the relevant stakeholders. So this is the first workflow. In the second workflow, instead of using the in-memory data, we actually use a real images from the real data set. Apart from that, the analysis part and the notifications part remains the same. But yeah, in the UI, user is expected to select the images, then as per the user selection, the raw text is extracted from that particular image. And now from raw text in the ColdFusion application, we extract the fields from that raw text using ColdFusion code, and then send those fields to the AI for analysis. And then the further the analysis is done by model, and the decision is sent. And the third workflow, that is actually the truly multi-step workflow. In this one, user will select an image, and it will come to ColdFusion backend. And then what happens is we extract the raw text. But at this time, we do not extract fields from the raw text inside ColdFusion application. We send the raw text directly to the AI. Now the AI will extract the fields that it requires for analysis, and then it will perform the analysis. But before it actually performs the full analysis, it will first verify that whether the fields are actually genuine or not. For example, the tax ID of the seller should match with the seller name. Similarly, tax ID should be genuine. So those kind of validations it will need. For that, it will need a database access, and for that, model does not have database access on its own. So that for that we will leverage a MCP tool call, and that will facilitate the model to access our database. And once the verification is done, then only the data analysis further analysis will be carried by the AI. Otherwise, it can reject the invoice automatically. And then the flow is same. After the validation of through database, it will further analyze and see whether it is an auto approval or rejection or human review candidate, and the flow will go on. So these are the three workflows we'll be seeing. So now let me come to demo. Okay, cool. So I will show you a demo. So this is the uh, dashboard that I have of the application that I have built. So here you see in the history I have run it for like 200 images nearly. Out of those 70 have been auto approved and 62 have been rejected. and 68 have been sent for human review. So now let me show you. So these are the three in-memory scenarios. First one is having all the fields like invoice number, supplier name, tax ID, amount, everything is there. And you see the invoice number is 001234. And when I begin the processing, it is actually started. It has started analyzing the invoice. Now, if I show you the logs, so right now debug log is enabled, and you see here this is the prompt. It is which is going in to the model. Yeah, here. So this is a system prompt. Here you see invoice processing, and it is asking for valid JSON as a response. And you see here this is the data that is going. The fields like invoice number, supplier name, tax ID. So, and see you see the 001234. It's the same data that we had chosen for in memory, and these fields are going in the prompt. And apart from that, analysis instructions, the validity, the criteria for a decision, like what conditions are good for auto reject, what conditions are good for approval, and for all other cases it should the invoice should be sent for human review. And then the response format. So it has to respond, the model has to respond with these fields like confidence, it should be 0 to 100, then validation, risk assessment, so all those things. And it has to provide the reasoning also besides a decision. Okay, now you see here this is the response from the model saying confidence is 95%. And if you see decision, so decision is an auto approve along with the reasoning also. It is providing that yeah, all mandatory auto approve conditions met. Okay, so this is the reasoning. And if you see in the browser, the same reasoning is there in now, and the model has responded correctly. Okay, and if I show you the email, I think, yeah, you see here 9:49 p.m. So this is the 2 minutes back I got the email about the invoice processing. So this is the same invoice number 001234, and yeah, it has been approved. So I had registered my personal email ID for as a customer, and that's why I have got this response in the email. So so this is how it is working for this particular workflow wherein all the fields were there. Now let me show you when couple of fields are missing, like tax ID, that is GST, and date. So now let me run for this. This time you will see in the logs again. So you see here, now this is the same thing, same prompt, but this time the fields are different. 0056 5678, and supplier name is not there, tax ID not there, invoice date not there. And the same analysis instructions, decision criteria, and the response format. This time you see the response from the model. Confidence is 72%, and you see the decision. It is a human review. So it has gone for a review to a human. And then you would see couple of MCP tool calls. First one is for my personal mail ID, and second one would be for yeah, my corporate mail ID. So this is registered as a human reviewer. So that is why it is going for to both mails. So if I show you now, you see in the backend also, so in the browser also, I have got the same thing. It is now a human review candidate, and I can approve or reject it. And if I show you in the email also, you see I've got an email as a customer saying yeah, that it has been sent for a human review. So this is the response from the AI. And if I show you my mailbox, you see I've got this email in my corporate mail because I had registered this as a human reviewer, and I've got an email about reviewing it. So I need to either approve or reject it. So I will approve it this time from here, and then we will see. So this is actually processing the decision that I have made, and it will also send email again to the relevant stakeholders. So yeah, you see here, decision has been processed successfully, and email notification has also been sent. So uh, so I've got another email about reviewer making an email based decision to approve this invoice. So this is a human in loop workflow wherein MCP tools are called, but human review is also required. Okay, so this is with in-memory data. Now I will show you the second workflow related to data set. So this is where I have a real data set with like thousands of images. I will load some of them. Okay, and if you see here, these are some of the images. In the preview you can see this is how the invoice looks like. So these are actually JPG files. Okay, so I will select a couple of them and start to process. So you see here, so this is the raw text extracted from the image, and from this raw text I'm extracting like fields like invoice number, invoice date, total, and tax ID or GST. Okay, and now it is processing this first image. Now, while it is processing, let me take you to the logs again. So this time you will see the same prompt would be there. So you see exactly the same prompt, but this time data extracted is from the real invoice image. Okay, tax ID, amount, everything is extracted from the image, and same analysis instructions, approval conditions, everything is same. And this time you see the response from the model. Yeah, this is the response. This time you see confidence is 85%, and issue is that yeah, supplier name is missing because we did not pass the supplier name, right? And that's why confidence is 85%, and human review I think mostly should be the output. Okay, so if you see the decision, this is a human review candidate. Now if I go back to the browser, you would see all the images have been processed, and all have been sent for a human review because the tax ID was not there in. I mean, it was there, but we had not extracted through Cold Fusion code. We had extracted number, invoice number, date, but not the tax ID, but not the supplier name. Sorry. So yeah, that's why. Now this is the second workflow. Now let's move to the final workflow, wherein we are extracting, but yeah, doing multi-step processing. So in this case, we are selecting three images randomly, and I have started processing. Now, if I show you the logs, this time it would be different prompt. So you see here, this time the prompt is completely different. Here we are we firstly asking the model to call this particular tool. So this is MCP tool, look up supplier data. So this is a tool for calling databases. We are asking the model to call the database first. And with what? So the two parameters. So tax ID and supplier name. This is how MCP tool call will be made, and this is just an example we are providing in the prompt. Actual data is this. So raw text that we extracted from the image, we are sending it here, and we are asking to extract the model. That model will extract only two fields: tax ID and supplier name. So tax ID and supplier name will be extracted from this raw text, and it would be this and the model will be calling this tool with two fields out of this raw text. Okay, this is the first call to AI. Okay, and once the response is received, so here you see in the debug logs, the for result would be received from the tool call. So now model has received the response that tax ID is verified or not, supplier is found or not. And then in the second step, second call to AI is made after tool call result has been received. Okay, then we are asking the model that yeah, it has to verify supplier status, whether it was found or blacklisted or what, and then apply the decision rules. And again, we are sending the same raw text, and now we are asking the model to extract all the fields, and depending upon the first tool call, it has to apply the decision rule. So if database lookup failed, it has to reject automatically. If supplier was blacklisted, it has to reject. So you see here, the model is also leveraging the database this time. In the first call, it made the database call, and in the second call, it is using the result. And then we are asking the model to get us the result and the decision in this format. And then you see here, this is the response from the model that yeah, for this invoice particular for a particular invoice, database verification was successful, decision is auto approved because amount is below 10,000. That's what our criteria was. So yeah, this is how the request and response is happening between models, MCP tool, and everything. And you see here, out of the three images, two were auto approved and one was rejected because so the rejection candidate was because database lookup failed. That's why. And if I go through the email box, you see here I have received the notifications for all of these, whether it was failed or whether it was an auto approval. For all cases, I'm receiving the notifications. So this completes the demo part. I will move back to the presentation. I think I'm not sure. Let me go back. Yeah, here it is. So uh, basically now we'll move to the code part. So code is basically divided into five layers. So first layer is the presentation layer, wherein we will keep basically the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and some templates. Then second layer is where the endpoints are. So there are endpoints related to in-memory work data, then OCR related endpoints, then human in loop. So when we actually make a decision through email, then it goes to that endpoint. Then there are endpoints related to data set selection, and then third layer is actually where the business logic resides. So the prompt formation and the mock data generation and the database tool calls, all those happen at the third layer. And this fourth layer is basically the service layer wherein we interact with AI services. We interact with where we build MCP client server and other things, and yeah, OCR related infrastructure service also is there. Then fifth layer is basically MCP tools, so the tools that we had written for emails and a database, so the actually sending the emails and all. So that happens in the tools layer or fifth layer. Now let me walk you through the code. So okay, yeah, this is my ID, and yeah, so this is the front end part wherein I'm having some CSS. Then there are templates related to header, templates related to in-memory data scenarios, then result processing, and then OCR upload section is there, and some JavaScript is also there. Okay, now I will just show you the main file or main endpoint file wherein generally the flow lands in the ColdFusion server side. So you see here, this is a working demo.cfm wherein generally the call is there comes when any endpoint when any action is taken on the UI side. So you see here there are many CFCs that are being initialized. So invoice data generator, that we are using create object function, and AI service manager, invoice analyzer. So all those things are there, and we have written it completely in ColdFusion. And you go into this. So in the invoice data generator, this is basically responsible for generating mock invoice data for demo scenarios. So the three scenarios we had seen. So for all those three, so based on the arguments dot scenario, this variable, we will be populating a struct for each of the three scenarios. So all the data fields are there. For this one, some of the fields would be missing, and the third one, there would be suspicious fields like invalid tax ID or extremely high amount. So this is the mock data being generated. Then when I go to AI Service Manager, this is where actually we create AI services and using the built-in functions that are there in this dev build. This is not available publicly. So if you see here the functions like create AI service or create email AI service. So these are some of the functions that I have defined here, and all are returning AI service type of objects. So if I show you get AI service, so this is a built-in function that is available in this build, and I'm leveraging this to create in order to create an AI service type of object, and this will be responsible for actually chatting with the models and doing any stuff that is related to AI going forward. So it is accepting a struct, and in the struct you see I'm passing chat model parameters related to memory of chat. So chat model you can get with another built-in function that is new, get chat model, and here you see provider API key and other things are being passed. Okay, and so yeah, this get AI service also accepts yeah, tools. So when the model actually needs to call some tools, so then it notes, so our AI service needs to have that access, that information where the tools are residing. So that's where the MCP comes into picture. So you see here in the get AI service in line number 119, I'm passing this struct email AI service config, and within this I'm passing tools. And you see here MCP client is being passed inside the tool. So now with this wiring, our model that is being passed, that knows now that yeah, email MCP client is available. And what is email MCP client? It is simply this, we are building this using another built-in function that is there in ColdFusion now. I mean, it will be coming to you with the public release. So yeah, MCP client builder, this is a function that will be there with which you can build MCP clients. So MCP client will be responsible for model to interact with any tool that you want the model to call. So this wiring will be done with this MCP client, and the way it works is you host an MCP server, or it can be hosted publicly by someone else also. But if you want to host in ColdFusion, that you can do. So I have hosted here in mcp-server-endpoint.cfm. So this is my endpoint. Okay, and with this endpoint, I am trying to build a transport layer using HTTP, and this transport layer I'm passing when I'm building MCP client. Now, when I pass this MCP client inside the AI service config, my AI service config now knows that yeah, this is my chat model, this is my MCP client, and whenever model needs to call any tool, this is the MCP client to connect, and MCP client knows with this URL where to hit. Now let's go to this MCP server endpoint to see how the server will be. Uh, so yeah, you see here, this is actually the MCP server implementation, and this is responsible for hosting the tools. So here you see here we are actually having this MCP server builder function. That is another built-in function that will be coming in CF 2026. And this is how you actually register the tools in the form of CFCs. So here you see I have written two CFCs, email tool.cfc and database lookup tool.cfc. And when I have these CFCs, I'm registering the CFCs in this MCP server so that any client can call. Now, any client can call it whenever any model requires. So let's see how what is there inside these CFCs. Okay. Uh, yeah. So you see here, this is like a normal CFC. This is a function. This is the tool. The function name will be the tool name now. Okay. So just that you have to add this extra thing. Access equals to remote. Any function inside any CFC, it can act as a tool if you basically put this access equals to remote and register it this way inside this built-in function. So yeah, if you have registered and put access equals to remote, your function is ready to serve as MCP tool directly. Okay, and yeah, you see here I'm forming. This is responsible for sending invoice notification through email. So it will accept these parameters like recipient, email type, amount, vendor, and everything. It will form the mail body and send it using CF mail tag. That's it. So my CFC is ready to serve as tool. Similarly for database lookup also, I have initialized this using in-memory data, but it can call mock data using CF query anyway. But yeah, important thing is yeah, access equals to remote. Uh, so yeah, so now we will take a look at another important CFC. Yeah, intelligent OCR processor. So this is another important CFC that is actually responsible forming the prompts. So the prompts you were seeing inside the logs, this is where actually these prompts and the calls are actually, this is where the action is, I would say. So in the first step, you see we are creating this OCR processor for extracting the raw text from the image. So the invoice image is there, and using this arguments.image path. And in the first step, we are actually extracting raw text from the image. Now, in the second step, what is happening is we are creating these AI services. Okay, using this AI service manager that I have shown you already. After that, we are actually creating the prompt here. You see here, this is the prompt that is being passed, and we are look up supplier data. So this was the MCP tool, and this is the example that how model needs to call. And you see here the OCR result from the step one, we are using it here. So this is the OCR result we had got this variable, and we are using it here, appending in the prompt. Okay, this is the full prompt being formed. So yeah, in the fourth step, so yeah, so step three is complete, created the first prompt. In the fourth step, you see the first AI call will happen using this database AI service dot chat, and in this we are passing that full prompt. So the prompt created was this. Okay, yeah, tool full prompt is being, yeah, tool call prompt was this variable was created in step 3 with OCR text and some other things, and with this we are prepending some system prompt also and passing it to this chat function. This is where actually the tool we are actually making the first AI call and getting the response here, the tool response. So the it will actually the tool response will be coming with this chat function, and now we will be leveraging this tool response in order to create the second prompt. So this is how we are actually creating the second prompt for analysis. So you see, after the tool, we are using this tool result text from the tool response. So this variable has now the result of the tool call, and we are using this result in the second prompt. And yeah, and again we are passing in the this here in line number 134. You see chat function, we are passing the prompt again. This is the second AI call, and then we are collecting the result here that will actually contain the analysis result from the model, and then we are parsing and using it in using it in uh, our user interface, that is browser. So
Hey,
that's
Nikhil,
how the,
sorry to interrupt. We
yeah,
have 5 more minutes before we can wrap
yeah,
up.
I'm done with the code flow. Just one more slide, and then
Yeah, just a minute. Okay.
yeah, so one more slide. It's a code walkthrough. I'm done. So now this is like last slide. Okay, so and finally, I would like to show you some tips, shares, tips and tricks. So yeah, basically, I had to create. First thing is like separation of concern. So I had to create separate AI services for decision making and email tool calling. So reason was that whenever I was including both in the same AI service, what was happening, that model was becoming too much conservative while making the decisions. So I mean, it was thinking that I'm sending the email, so that's why probably it is like a very serious business. So it was not following the rules that I had given. That's why separation of concerns is better. And yeah, prompt engineering is critical. You have to provide examples in the prompt that you see, and the response format also. You see, in each prompt I have clearly specified the output format as well as examples. Then error handling needs to be there because models can respond with anything like you won't have thought of. So you need to have error handling for the last moment. And then yeah, ROI is measurable and immediate. So time, with respect to time or accuracy, you get the benefit when you do it right way. So this is something I wanted to share, and then yeah, I will move to the next part. Yeah, I mean, I will. The presentation is done. I thank you, and yeah. So now it's the time for question that I had asked in the beginning. So guys, I hope everyone is ready. So this will actually will take the questions, but yeah, I'm just asking the question for voucher. So please be ready, and whoever responds first will get the voucher. So here would be the question. So just read it carefully and respond. What is the primary purpose of the MCP? A, B, C, or D? So let's see who has responded first. Okay, so this guy, I think Leslie M. Walker. I think B is the correct answer. So yeah, congratulations, Walker, Mr. Walker. Cool. Uh, okay, so yeah, Miss Walker, that's fine. Uh, so yeah, we will share with you the voucher. Now I am free to answer your questions. So yeah, for Tim's question, I would say this will work only on 2026. That is upcoming version. This won't be working in any of the previous versions. I mean 26, or you can say 2025 also, with because it will be releasing this in update, since we in 2025 we have moved to a subscription model. So 2025 will also work with update. Yeah, thanks, Gobi. I think if we can share, we have actually not. So this build is not available for to anyone, so that's why we have not shared any demo. But I think once the build is available, we can share the application code as well. It's not a problem. And yeah, anyway, this will be going into YouTube. I guess, yeah, this online summit generally is publicly posted. To free up logged files after processing issues arise. It's very frustrating when CF locks a file and needs to be restarted to clear it. Okay, so which specific files are you talking about? See, I mean, generally, I have not. Yeah, there are some files, generally, but those are more related to the system files. So are there your files also locked up? Means. And Joy says MCP gives AI models access to files, databases, APIs, and what about safety and risk mitigation? So basically, we will be providing access with having we will be having some authentication as well around MCP servers and the client. So that will be there, and we'll be having some guardrails also in place. When a read function happens on a file and if network congestion at a minimum blows, file it locks and requires a reboot. Every version of ColdFusion that has file processing has this problem. Clear the lock automatically. Okay, I think this is a problem, and we will take this separately. I think, yeah, but this is a visible problem though, I think. And there's no exact solution. But this is like in a wrong direction. I would say we'll take this. We can take this in separately, but not here. This is for presentation related Q&A.
Hey Nikhil, so
Yeah.
if there are any more questions, I will send the chat to you on the
Hmm.
mail, so we can look through it and we can answer them. But for now, it's time for the next
Yeah.
session. Thank you for the great presentation, and
Yeah.
thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being such a lovely audience and listening to me. And have a good day. Thanks.